Let's Talk Oculus is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to know how to support the show, go to patreon.com/playtestvr. What's up, Oculus nerds? I'm Dan from Playtest VR. Welcome to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 27. I am joined by the chosen one. It's Samson. How was your Thanksgiving, buddy?
Thanksgiving was great. Had some good turkey. Basically had two Thanksgiving meals. Due to it, a nice family friendsgiving.
Like on the same day, did you go to one and then went to another one?
No. We did just like my immediate family and a couple cousins on Thursday, and then had the neighbors I grew up with on Saturday, and then like a bunch of friends from high school. It's like 19 of us on Saturday, so it's like a nice little small meal, and then the big one.
Nice.
What did you do?
For my thing, well, I mean, I'm in Canada, so I didn't really celebrate Thanksgiving because we had ours like a month ago. But my company actually works on American holidays, so I had the few days off, and I just pretty much chilled out, to be honest. No turkeys over here. We had that the month before. But we're joined by a special guest. We're joined by a patron and the first person ever to ask a question on this podcast. I think way back on episode 3 or 4. Welcome, Craig, to the show. Craig, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was great. I am actually in the Midwest, and so we traveled up north to my family. It was the first time we'd seen them since all this ridiculousness started, so it was really fun to see them. And then my wife's family, we hit up on Friday, and then just enjoyed the rest of the weekend. So it was a really good experience all the way through.
Oh, very, very nice. Craig, you're a host of your own podcast. You have Beyond the Mouse, a Disney podcast, right? And I looked you on episode 135 now.
Yeah,
so more of a podcast veteran than us, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we started a network called the Front Row Network about 7 years ago, and it started with like just guys wanting to sit around and drink beer and talk movies. And so then I started a Disney show off of that, and we have done about 135 episodes now. We've had some pretty cool interviews this last year. We've talked to Alan Menken and Yvette Nicole Brown, and then also Evangeline Lilly. It's been really fun to talk Disney with a lot of people. And then actually now, because one weekly show wasn't enough, I am a host on a second weekly show, Peanut Butter and Biscuits. We cover all things Ted Lasso. So
nice.
We are doing a Ted Lasso rewatch, and it's just been really fun. Podcasting, you guys know, it's just so much fun to interact with people that are listening, but then also just to be able to kind of get your own thoughts out there. And it's just like your friends having a conversation, and then you're just recording it for others to hear, right? So it just works out really well.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, that's kind of why when we did our first podcast, which wasn't really a podcast, just a predictions episode, we thought, this is kind of fun. This is really fun. Let's do this a little bit more often. I love that you have a Ted Lasso podcast. I didn't know that, so I should definitely be subscribing to that because I'm a big fan. And it sounds like Samson, you're a fan too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know Eric. There seems to be a good amount of people in the VR community actually.
Ted Lasso is awesome. Yeah, such a good fit. I see you also had Mickey Mouse on your show last week, right?
Yeah, we did. We had Brett Iwan on, and he's been the voice of Mickey Mouse since 2009. He's really cool because not only does he do the voiceover work, but he actually was a graphic artist before that. So he kind of came to the company. His friend sent him this audition knowing that he had done the impression of Mickey Mouse like at college. And so that's how he landed the gig. Wow. So it's kind of cool. He's also a Disney fine artist, which means he's allowed to paint or draw the characters and not get in trouble for it. And so it was just really cool to get to chat with him and hear sort of his career and where it's going from here.
Definitely. I see, Samson, you had a good Mickey Mouse impression that you showed me before the show.
That's perfect.
He's
Who knows?
hired.
You might be next.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. The fellow patrons can message me to see if that was a good one or not. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. But speaking of patrons, we have a new member to introduce. We have Aaron Stewart. Big welcome to him. He joined us just before Thanksgiving. And he joins obviously Craig, Nate, Robin, Eric, Matt, Andrew, Kimberly, and Kai. So if you want to be our 10th Patreon, head over to patreon.com/playtestvr. And in today's show, we'll be talking about, I guess, the Meta Quest now. Like the Oculus Quest is now completely rebranded to Meta Quest. Our name is now gone. Let's Talk Oculus is now Let's Talk Meta. But we had the Upload VR showcase. So we're going to go through everything that was announced on the Quest side of things, as well as some look of the After the Fall gameplay for the Quest. It was the first time we saw the footage. So we'll get into that. There's also another jam-packed update. Obviously, we'll be talking about Craig, about his journey since when he came. I think June or July was when you got your Quest, right? When you sent your question in.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But as first, we got some housekeeping. Audio listeners, if you want to see the video version of the Let's Talk Oculus podcast, you can head over to the YouTube channel. All the links will be in the description below. And for you video watchers, if you want to have this on your commute, then you can listen to it on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. And if you also want to be part of the show, just send in your questions to letstalkoculus@gmail.com, just like Craig did many moons ago. And we also have Discord benefits, which is for non-patrons as well. So like I said, all in the description if you want to join that. Now, speaking of like talking to us, we've got some listener mail to go through. And this comes in by a brand new listener called Joseph White. He says, "Good morning and happy holidays. Recently subscribed to your YouTube channel after finding your podcast on Spotify. I really enjoyed the show and all the information you all give for games and gear. I found it funny that everyone seems to agree about Facebook lol. I was worried that I was the only person that likened Mark Zuckerberg to be the villain from Ready Player One. I just purchased a pre-owned Quest 2 and haven't really had time to use it, being that I'm traveling for work. However, I was curious if there was any seeded games that you could recommend. I mainly enjoyed first-person shooters and RPGs on consoles, but I don't know where to start with VR. Thank you, and for any advice that you can give us, and we look forward to this week's show." So first of all, massive thank you to Joseph White to recently subscribing. Always welcome new listeners to the show. So let's address the question here. Samson, you got any thoughts on some seeded games? I know you have tons and tons of games. There must be a few seeded ones on there.
Well, I was trying to think of ones that fell into vaguely the genres, I guess, of first-person shooters and RPG. And first one's the arcade shooter, Zombieland. If you're into arcade first-person shooters, pretty fun. I know my cousin, who I've been showing VR to, he's been loving that game.
Mm-hmm.
And since movement just is like looking, it's a rail shooter, really. Pretty easy to play seated, pretty fun.
Yeah.
And other one would, I guess, be Resident Evil 4. As they've got a lot of options for movement.
You've been playing that in your car recently, right?
No, I stepped outside to play it. I stepped outside. Yeah.
I think that's a good suggestion with the Zombieland. I played that a ton when it first came out, and yeah, you don't need to move too much. So definitely a good suggestion. Craig, any suggestions on your part?
Well, a couple of things. First, you said the Discord. You mentioned the Discord. A lot of people in there were so helpful to me because I was wondering if I should pick up Resident Evil 4. Being kind of a non-gamerish, I should say to your listeners that I am probably the most novice gamer that these two have ever had on their show. I like listening to your other episodes. I was like, oh my gosh, they want me to be a guest on this? This is crazy. But I will say Resident Evil 4 has been just a lot of fun, and it's just so cool. It's very immersive. I haven't actually had too many jump scares yet, which for me, being a little bit of a wuss when it comes to horror, I'm cool with that. But then also, I know that they mentioned first-person shooter, but I have to say Moss is just so much fun. I was wondering how a platformer would work in VR, and this game is perfect for that. And it's got a really cool story that goes along with it. It's got some puzzles that you have to figure out along the way. So that's a game that I'm really glad that I picked up, because it's one that I've played quite a bit. And I believe it was actually Samson who had said you should pick up this game if you're looking for something that's more seated or you wanted to get into platforming.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think I definitely echo that, to be honest. I would say in terms of RPG, what are we talking about Demio? No one mentioned Demio yet. Like probably the best game of 2021, I would probably say. Came back way in March. Super popular. Obviously, this one mainly depends if you have the friends playing it as well. I guess that's the one caveat to it, because it does have a little bit of single player, but it's more just training to play the game with the friends. It's way, way more enjoyable with the friends. And obviously we got the new DLC coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. So I would say Demio, and I would also see Red Matter, which I've talked about on the show before. Red Matter is a puzzle. It's more of a puzzle game, a puzzle exploration game. It's an old title. Like, it came out on the Quest 1, but it got updated on the Quest 2. And it's beautiful on the Quest 2, even though it's a much older title. But yeah, that's a puzzle game. I play it seated because you can just jump around in your astronaut suit on, I think it's on Mars. It's a red planet. I'm assuming it's Mars. But yeah, that's what I would say too. But yeah, good suggestions all around. I guess Resident Evil is, maybe it depends on if he likes the horror, you know. But you're right, Craig. Resident Evil 4 is actually not very jump scary compared to some of the other Resident Evils out there. I think 7 and 2 are way more jump scary than 4 and 8 is the new one as well. They're more action orientated. But are you enjoying it then? You enjoying Resident Evil a lot?
I am, and I'm, like I said, I what I love about the Quest is that it was something where I'm not much of a console gamer because I'm not great at gaming. But I was like, you know what, this virtual reality thing, you can really pick it up, play for 15 minutes to 30 minutes. I have a young child. So being able to just play for a round or two, or maybe a chapter in Resident Evil, makes it so easy to be able to like do that every now and then, and not feel like you have to be completely so crazy invested in these games that last forever. But yeah, Resident Evil has been really fun. And I love the immersion. There's the settings at the very beginning that are like, do you want to be able to just use your control pad? And I would suggest no one do that, because the fun part about VR is going from like, you have to load, you have to figure out with your hand tracking how to load your gun. And then once that's out, like there's a zombie right next to you. So you got to put it away and grab your knife really quickly or punch them. And that's the really fun part about VR to me, is that kind of immersion that you can get out of that. So I'm really enjoying it, even as someone that's not, I like Mickey Mouse. I don't like horror, So even as someone like that, I think it's well worth picking it up. It's really good. The one thing, the complaint I would have, and I've seen this a lot online, there are an awful lot of cutscenes in that game, and you can skip through them, but holy moly, there was just a lot of like every now and then, like you play for about 10 minutes and then you have like another 2 to 5 minute cutscene, it seems like. But outside of that, it's a great game.
I think it's typical for Japanese games in that era. I think Konami had a lot with Metal Gear Solid as well. Like the cutscenes would go on for so long. But yeah, I guess, did it take you out a little bit with those cutscenes because it's like a cinema all of a sudden? Did that break the immersion a little bit?
I think that's why I minded them more than I would on like when I would have played Resident Evil 4 on the Switch or on something else. I think I mind the cutscenes a bit more, because all of a sudden you go into a cinema, and I don't know if either of you have had this experience, but I keep thinking the developers are going to trick me. So I keep kind of looking behind me to see if there's going to be like a zombie that just shows up right behind me. And it hasn't happened yet. So if it does happen later, don't spoil it for me. But I think that would be so funny if like you're just like enamored in the cutscene and then all of a sudden you get, attacked. That would be great.
I think even better what would be is if you look behind you and it's like a movie theater and all these zombies are just sat there eating popcorn, watching the cutscenes with you.
Yeah, that'd
Watching
be
you
perfect.
lose. Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
They do that in Five Nights at Freddy, actually, because when you're in the menu system, after you played a little bit, you look to the right and there's like a monster just in the door, and he's just like peeking his head. He's not gonna do anything, but he's just there. It makes you uncomfortable. But yeah, so thanks a lot, Joseph, for your question. And once again, thanks for being a new listener. Hope those recommendations definitely helped you. And then write us back in like what you decided to pick up, and if you loved Moss or hated Resident Evil because you got too scared. Who knows? Who knows? But Craig, let's go to you before we go into the Upload VR showcase. So you got your Quest way back in the summer. How have you liked it so far? Like after it's been 6 months or so, are you happy with your purchase? Has there been some quirks that you've kind of not been happy about? Like what's your initial impressions?
I will say I've been very happy. I do wish, much like you, Dan, that I had more than a 64 gig. I probably should have bought the 128 right away, but like that kind of was a bit irritating that they decided to make the base model the 128 basically like 2 months after I had bought the same price that it would have been. But outside of that, it's been really fun because I have a 6-year-old now, and I wasn't sure what I would do about VR. I was kind of hiding it from him at first because I didn't want him to like constantly be like, oh my goodness, I want to play this. But Walkabout Mini Golf, I was like, there was some day when we were all bored and I was like, why don't you try this? And he absolutely loves it, and he gets
awesome.
to experience it too. And then I'm really enjoying the movie aspect of it because, as I mentioned, the podcast about movies, Paper Birds is beautiful. It is a lovely script. It's really well acted, and it's just it takes you to somewhere else. And I almost think like if that is the progression of cinema, then we are heading in a really cool direction. Because as somebody that loves animation as well, it's just so gorgeous. So I've been really pleased with it. I actually bought the Quest because again, huge Disney fan. I have not been to Galaxy's Edge yet. And so I was like, you know what? They have this Tales from Galaxy's Edge game. I'm going to go and check this out. And just the allure of that. Like, so I bought that game right away, really enjoyed it. And I've completed part 1 at this point. I have not, I've downloaded part 2, but I haven't actually started it yet. But it's really fun. It's fairly repetitive on certain levels and things like that, but it's cool to interact with C-3PO and I swear I'm not name dropping. We had Anthony Daniels on our podcast for Star Wars Day last year. And so like, it was just kind of fun to like hear that interaction and that voice again. And so I've really enjoyed it. I've been trying to get friends to buy it, because the only thing I haven't done yet, and you're probably not going to believe this, I have not played a single multiplayer game in the Quest.
Wow.
And so that's why, like later when we talk about after the fall, I want you all to convince me whether or not I should buy this game, because it was one of the games I was really excited about. But if I only have the single player, I don't know if that's worth it. But I will put a pin on that until you get to it in your show.
I think you're in our Discord. We got to get some games, Samson.
I know, right?
Samson,
it makes me sound so sad. I'm like, I haven't played with anyone, but
get some Walkabout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, me and Samson have been playing Walkabout almost every Sunday with PJ, Gina, and then Kimberly's been in, who's a Patreon, of course. So maybe we can do a rotating chair of maybe, I don't know, or maybe someone drops out or something. We can get Craig in with a Walkabout. It would just be fun to connect that way. Because I mean, Samson, I guess you could say this the most. The multiplayer aspect is your favorite part of VR,
yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah. I am curious. Do you use the stock head strap?
Oh, I did for like 30 seconds, and then I immediately, because I think it was your show, I had started listening when I was going to get it for Father's Day. So that was my Father's Day gift. So it was back in June. And I wrote in, and I had mentioned, you had mentioned something about the Elite strap being pretty much a necessity. And immediately when I put that first head strap on, I was like, they're right. And I went to online and bought the strap immediately, because it's like, it is such a different experience between the two. And
For sure.
it is so weird that it doesn't come in the box like that, right? You know, like I wish they would just charge, I don't know, make it $325 and have the Elite strap in it or something like that.
Totally agree. I think I always recommend the Elite strap just because it's the easiest one that any person can go out and buy. Like I know, Samson, you've obviously got your own straps as well, which look much better, to be honest, than the Elite strap, and much more comfortable. But to get those straps is a little bit harder. You have to go on Amazon, you have to get this link, blah blah blah. Where if you're in a Best Buy or something, you can go to get a Quest, and the Elite strap's just there. It's right next to it. They don't have to do anything else, and they just pick it up with it. And obviously, being official, I know a lot of people, just especially people who are not too much into the gaming space or too much into the techie stuff, like I guess we are, is the Elite strap is just easy because it's an official accessory as well. Did yours break at all, or are you still going strong?
Mine's still working, so hopefully it does not break, especially with a 6-year-old using it as well. But as of right now, knock on wood, it is all good.
Now, did you find when you put the Elite strap on and such, do you find the Quest heavy, like front heavy at all?
I don't. I mean, I certainly did. Like my neck hurt almost immediately in putting on the strap that came with it. I have now played. I don't play. I'm not a Samson when I play. I don't think I've played for like 3 hours, and I haven't played Demio yet, which I know is a longer game. But I would say even like playing 45 minutes to an hour and a half at times, I have no problem with it. I also play a lot of Supernatural, and that's moving around so much, and that has been fine as well. So I think it's comfortable for the most part.
Yeah. Samson,
I have no idea why it's $55, but it is comfortable.
I have no idea either, but I do love the dial behind. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Samson, did you ever get your new strap, the one with the battery pack in?
Yeah, it's right there in the box.
Okay. Next week's show, we shall talk about what's the strap called again? I completely forgot what
it's like the Boba.
Yeah.
Boba
like VR, yeah. It's the one with the magnetic battery attachment, which is pretty cool. The way you can just swap them out. Essential for Demio, to be honest. But I'm really intrigued to see how that strap is. The only reason why I asked about the weight is because just before this show, I had a friend over, and she put the headset on because I was putting it on because I was just trying out Smash Drums, and I was like, "Have you ever been in VR?" And she said, "No." I said, "Let me just put you in the Oculus Home, so you just see what it's like." As soon as you put it on, it's like, "Oh, this is quite heavy. This is quite like a heavy headset." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I never really think of it anymore because I guess I'm just used to the weight." And just like you, Craig, I've been playing a ton of Supernatural over the last month or so, and even with that, it's fine. I just find it annoying when I just sweat so much and it just drips down, and it's more because of the heat of the headset rather than I'm actually sweating.
The workout, yeah.
Yeah. Craig, tell us about Supernatural. How's that been? How's the fitness VR been for you?
I started it when I first got the Quest back in June, and I tried it out. I also tried out Beat Saber, and I found Supernatural to be a lot easier to pick up on. And then, of course, like because you're paying the $18 a month, their licensing deals is just so much broader. You can get they have like show tunes now on Supernatural. They have so many different genres of music, and it's all up to date and current. And then I did stop it probably like in August or September because I wasn't using it enough, and I was going more into like the gaming side of things. I was playing a lot of the Galaxy's Edge, and then I knew Resident Evil would be coming out and all of that. But then I did pick it up this month because I love Thrill of the Fight. I love boxing. Yeah. And now that Supernatural had boxing, I wanted to check it out. And it is really fun. I like it a lot. Really, I think it's a really cool addition to their game, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Because I also do I started the whole like meditation thing, but I don't do that within Supernatural because it's kind of like, for me, it's much more about like eyes closed kind of thing, and so you can't really experience it as much in Supernatural. But it's a really cool game. I wish that they had an annual price that was like a considerable discount to the monthly price, because then I think I'd probably pick it up that way as opposed to paying the $18 a month. But it's nice because now I can kind of start and stop it as I need to. We're going into the winter here, and it's going to be a lot harder to get out and go for a run or whatever. So I probably will keep Supernatural for the rest of the winter.
Yeah, I'm glad you tried out the boxing because that's the only one I do now. Only reason being is that I found with the standard one with the batons, I guess. Sometimes I'll just my form wouldn't be great and my traps will get pretty tight. Where the boxing, I feel like I can get my form better. I just it's just probably my shitty form to be honest. But like I love the boxing. I think it's really good. Obviously, there's not many boxing workouts yet. Like the hard ones, there's only a few, but they're getting there. They're getting more and more. And now with the Facebook acquisition, it's probably going to go crazy in 2022, to be honest, which I'm excited for. Did you get the supernatural face plate thing, the rubber one as
I
well?
did. I did. Yeah. It still doesn't stop me from sweating like
No.
crazy in that thing.
No.
But it was nice to be able to get that. And then it's been fun I love just like the vistas that are in there. And I think I was listening last week and you mentioned that the developers were the same from Wander, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And so like, it's just so beautiful in there,
Yeah.
really. And that is another thing where it shows off potentially the future of VR in such a way, because I could see so many people buying into that. You see how many people have bought Pelotons, right, in the last like 5 years. And I could see if they could really do like the fitness thing and nail that. Dan, I thought your idea a long time ago, like just having a fitness particular quest, is such a good idea that they need to get into that space, but we'll see where they go from here.
There's a massive market for it. I mean, if Lululemon here in Vancouver just bought the mirror. I don't know if you've heard about the mirror, the fitness device, where it's literally a thick ass mirror, and you can see the trainer in the mirror, and then obviously you can see yourself and has your stats on there and such. And I think that came out here in Canada a couple of weeks ago. But like the mirror, you've got the Pelotons, you've got like Apple Fitness doing their just standard Apple, like your standard fitness subscriptions at home. It's a massive place for it. But hey, we'll see. We'll continue to wish and hope, but I don't know, maybe it's just too small of a market right now and they can't justify the prices. The thing is, the only people who are going to do it are Meta, are Facebook, because of how much they can subsidize the actual Quest. Like you can't come out with a fitness headset which costs $500. Not many people are probably going to buy it. Right. Maybe they'll probably buy an exercise bike or something because that's tried and tested. $1,000, they know what they're getting, right? But with a VR, something that's brand new, you can't charge that much because not many people will get into it. So yeah, I hope, to be honest. I mean, at least they've come out with next year they're coming out with their like fitness hand straps and new fitness plates. I know it's nothing new that Kiwi Design haven't done or VR cover haven't done, but at least it's something, at least it's something. Speaking of, like, that just reminded me into when you said Wander and such. Has any of you two tried the new David Attenborough that came out during the Thanksgiving?
I have not. No.
So neither have I didn't know about it, actually.
So I don't remember what it's called because I haven't wrote this down. I just remembered it now. But during the Thanksgiving week, David Attenborough whoever the production studio came out with, like 3 or 4 David Attenborough recordings, which were to do with plants, it was nice. It was great. It's plants, but the one that they came out, the latest one that week, was a recording that David Attenborough did way back, I think in 2007, but they remastered the show for VR.
First Life.
That's it. Yeah. First Life. And it's not the full hour of an episode, which was a real shame because it was only 10 minutes long, and it's obviously free. It's just on Oculus TV. But you just sit down. I mean, Joseph's question earlier was seated experiences. You just sit down and you look around, and you're mostly in the bottom of the ocean because it takes you right down to 500 million BC or whatever it was. And you go right down into the ocean and you're looking around and you see the first kind of species evolving, and the graphics in there is fantastic. It's probably one of the best graphics I've seen in an Oculus TV experience, because a lot of them are, even though they say 8K, some of them are like grainy and such. This one kind of started off grainy, but then once you get into it and into the ocean a bit more, it's pretty clear, and you see the beasts. And there was one part where they showed these underwater scorpions that were around before anything happened on land, and they're massive and they just come at you pretty much, and you can see them like eating each other kind of, or like eating other things on the seabed. So I would 100% recommend anyone who's listening, and definitely you two, tomorrow or something, to definitely check that out. It's only 10 minutes long, and like as soon as it finished after 10 minutes, I left wanted so much more. Like, this is really good experience, and it's much better than the insects one that he did the year before, just because the quality of the video stream was just more immersive and more better, so it was more immersive, shall I say. So definitely check that out.
I do love David Attenborough.
Yeah. As long as I have room in my 64 gig Quest.
You don't have to download it. It's just a stream. I was
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Craig, my Quest has got 3 games on it.
Still got Medal of Honor.
You picked up Medal of Honor, right?
So... Oh, Medal! I absolutely love Medal of Honor. It's so. I think is the reason why is because, I mean, I spoke about it on the last show. Is that I've been so into it, where I've been in my in my bedroom. I don't really have much space to get super immersive in terms of like sitting down and crouching and crawling on the floor and doing all that weird and wacky stuff. But in the living room, if after I move a couple of furniture pieces, I have a kind of a good space to do it all, and it's fantastic. I've been put like a little bench that I use for bench press in the gym right in front of me, so if I need to go on it just to keep support as I'm sniping or something, I can go on it. And I'm literally crawling around, and the reloading is so satisfying. And it's obviously not as true as real life if you reload the gun, but it's really good in VR. And the grenades as well, like you get the grenade off your chest and you just take it off with your mouth and you chuck it. I've never been so into a VR game, like the amount of immersion that's in there, right? Especially for a single player. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Obviously, the only problem is that it's a massive game, and obviously for me and you, Craig, and everyone listening with a 64 gig Quest, kind of stuffed unless you like completely delete everything. But
what are the other games you have installed?
Supernatural, Walkabout, Mini Golf, Golf Plus, and I guess Smash Drums as well. And that's it. That's it. I have a rhythm game, a couple of golf games, a fitness game, and that's about it. But the thing is, I'm playing nothing but Medal of Honor. We'll get to the one I'm playing later, but I'm playing like nothing but it, so it's fine. I've got Resident Evil 2 as well, but I couldn't install it. So
right.
I'll install it later. But yeah, if you ever happy to sacrifice your Quest for a couple of weeks and play nothing but Medal of Honor, if you have the 64 gig one, I loved it so much. I'm really into war games, so like I loved it so much, and it was way better than on the Quest than it is on the PC because you're not tethered. I know you could do Airlink, but if you didn't have that luxury, like I didn't have that luxury because my Wi-Fi just wasn't strong enough for Airlink. I had to tether it. Now I can just jump around and go down, and it's so good. I love slaying Nazis.
It's a good pastime.
It's a great pastime, 100%. Craig, one more question with your journey here in the VR. Anything that you didn't really like, you kind of frustrated with?
Well, I mentioned that I did return Beat Saber, and then also for some reason I had thought that maybe Tetris Connected would be more something more there. I didn't expect to like pick up like a block and put it down or anything like that, but I did actually return that. And I will say that honestly, that's the coolest part about the Quest to me is not that you would want to, and I'm sure at some point they might flag your account if you start like
they do.
Yeah. But
I've done it.
But it's great to like have the ability to be able to return something. So actually, because I picked up Tetris over Black Friday. So that was very recently. And then I was like, this just isn't what I was wanting. And then they still had the Oculus 30% off. So I got the Blade and Sorcery game. Yes. And it's just awesome. Like, honestly, talk about like killing some Nazis. Like if you just want to like have a sandbox where you're just going off on people, like this is a great game to have for that. So that was really fun. But honestly, I don't really have too many complaints. I think for the most part, it's been a really good experience of getting to go through the games. And if you have a game that's just not your thing, you can go ahead and return it. I would say that the most frustrating thing was the immediate release of the 128 as the base model, because it's like, what am I going to do now? I don't really want to go and upgrade my Quest. Maybe what I should do is give my old Quest to a friend or something like that and then upgrade, or I don't know. But I do wish that I had more space for sure.
I agree with that. Obviously, as a fellow 64 giga, I guess it's not as bad as last August if you bought the Quest 1 and then the Quest 2 came out the month later. I feel like that was much worse.
Well, and I think you all have touched on it pretty well, but also the lack of release dates. And I get that that's good for the developers to be able to finish the product and not have like this expectation or this deadline. But like after the fall, for instance, for the longest time, I was like, oh, do I pick up Arizona Sunshine? I've heard it's really good, but they have this game after the fall coming out that's going to be much newer. But it's like, when is that coming out? And it's not like when they pushed it back from the summer into the fall, they weren't like, oh, it'll be December. They were like, oh, it'll be in the fall. Well, to me, fall is like, we're kind of almost into winter here. So it's just like, I wish that there were some more solid release dates for things as well.
Yeah. And it's literally coming out like probably one of the last games of 2021 as well. But that's a good segue. Let's go into the Upload VR showcase, because there's quite a few announcements for games coming out in spring 2022, most of which were a lot of indie titles, but that's normal for Upload VR showcase. I think they did mention in the Meta Connect, I guess. It still feels weird when I say that. I still feel like I have to correct myself, or some people listening there, what the hell are you talking about? But the Meta Facebook Connect, should I just say, they did announce that they will do an Oculus showcase in 2022. I expect it to be in February, March, just like last year's one as well. So we might have more, I guess, heavy hitter titles. Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, last year's was a little bit of a disappointment. Splinter Cell, Assassin's Creed, GTA. I feel like GTA is never going to come out. That's my prediction right here. But yeah, let's go to Upload Showcase announcements here. The Upload VR Showcase. Now, the first game that was announced was City Skylines. It's coming out in spring 2022. City building simulator. That you can buy this on like the PS4 and such, and the PC, I believe. But there's a VR version of it now. Any of you two into that kind of like city building with the old ones like the Sim City, and I guess Roller Coaster Tycoon's kind of like a city building game in a way?
I was the guy that every time that I would build a city, it was only to see what natural disasters I could unleash on the city. So I'm sure, like in concept and in theory, it would be pretty fun to go in, and depending on what you're able to do, like if the map is right there ahead of you, and then you're actually, again, physically, like I'm so much the kitschy VR guy that's like, I want to pick up like a skyscraper and set it down or whatever. It really will just depend on what the play style's like. But for the most part, I'm not a huge like urban planner, those types of games. It's just not my thing.
Oh, Samson, what about you?
I used to love Sim Theme Park, but I never really got into the other like Sim City or other types of games. I mean, the idea sounds pretty intriguing to me. Like, I do like this type of peaceful game, but I'll probably wait to see some reviews.
Have you two ever heard of a game called Rampage?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was thinking like this could be cool if the city was built and I just go around like destroying it.
That's basically actually what you do in Sim. You guys got to play some of that.
Yeah, I haven't played that, to be honest.
Give me a VR version of Rampage. Could you imagine like walking up and then just punching as you're going down the whole building. That would be
Bang.
great.
But yeah,
And that game it takes place in Peoria, Illinois, so that's not too far away from me. So
nice.
Rampage has a special place in my heart for sure.
Nice. I just want some kid to like build Lego so I can knock it down or something. One of those. I mean, the snow season's coming up, so there's gonna be a lot of snowmen around. Yeah. Anyway, the Chulas is the next game. Spring 2022 again. The Chula is an interesting name. It's a co-op defense shooter which has up to 4 players, which you have to defend a platform from hordes of beasts and goblins. Kind of like Guardians VR, if anyone's played that on Oculus. Well, instead you're not kind of building anything, you're just defending essentially. Samson, co-op game for you.
Yeah, I know. It's fun. It really does sound a lot like the Elven Assassin game as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I won't be buying this alone, I'll tell you that much. But if I can convince like 2 or 3 friends to buy and play a few times, hell yeah, I'm in.
I feel like this is a game that you kind of wait till you see reviews first, and if it's a good co-op experience, to try and get it sold for many people is for your friends as well. It's gonna be a tough one. Craig, the Chulas, up your alley or no?
Well, like you said, I mean, like I need to get some
You get some
more
friends.
headsets around me. Yeah, I need to get friends basically, but no, probably not for right now. I would say that it's not something that really appeals to me.
Yeah, definitely. We got Ziggy's Cosmic Adventures, which comes out late 2022. This is a kind of an immersive cockpit title where you're flying the spaceship to pursue, which is being pursued by unhappy aliens, because you've stolen something from them. So it's more of like you're in the pilot seat, you're shooting all these spaceships, but you can also come out the pilot seat and going into your spacecraft, and you have to like manage your spacecraft to like repair stuff. And it didn't tell you too much, but it looked like you were repairing stuff and such. Seems like a fun game, but not till late 2022. Any takers for this one, or let's just see what happens?
I would say that if they say late 2022, it'll be out December 31st, 2022. But no, it sounds like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it sounds like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, like where they're leaving and they're trying to get away. And so this is much more up my alley, like a cockpit type game. I really enjoy the World War I fighter plane game as well. That's been a really fun experience. So Warplanes, that's what it is. Yeah. And it's just been great. So I would say, yes, this would be one that I'd probably check out.
Samson, you played Warplanes, right?
Yeah. I played a little bit of it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. And this one?
I mean, it looks cool. I'll once again, I'll have to. Yeah, I mean, I gotta wait on the reviews on this one. Not a day one for me.
Well, I know what's a day one for you, which you already have, is Smash Drums, which is officially on the Quest Store now, which was it was always on App Lab for so long. But now they finally made it to Quest Store, and it's pretty sick because not only they have single player, they also now have a co-op mode and a versus mode. So they now bring multiplayer into the game, which is up to 8 players in multiplayer. And there's 30 rock songs, which I believe was 30 rock songs before, although the build I had 21. So I believe there was 30 before, and a few good, nice environments as well. And that's out now. It came out on December 2nd. So by the time people are listening to this, it's already out. I mean, if you haven't played Smash Drums, do it, because I think it's fantastic. If you like, especially if you like that type of music, it's really good. And the developer is great on Twitter. Like he interacts all the time with the community. So Smash Drums, Samson, you still playing Smash Drums as much as you did? I know you got addicted to it at one stage, right?
I haven't played it in a minute, but I do have my oh, it's not gonna damn blur my Smash Drums mug.
For the audio listeners, you can see
There
the
it
Smash
is.
Drums mug that Samson won in his TikTok, right?
Yeah. It does combine well with the the new meta update with the mixed reality, because it is a great game for mixed reality.
It is like,
Um,
yeah, it's been shown off really well in mixed reality, to be
yeah.
honest.
But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're into rhythm games, it's a great game. If you're not into rhythm games, you're not going to enjoy this one.
I would also say the music as well. If you're not really into indie type of rock music, even though you probably won't know most of, or if not all of the songs, because they are more of like unlicensed song or like more copyright free songs, rather than like the big hitters. But if you're into like drumming and you kind of like that music, I would definitely recommend it. Craig, is this something that you kind of interested in, or have you played it before?
I haven't played it yet, but I would definitely check it out. Like it, the only real rhythm games I've played are Supernatural, and then also, as I mentioned, Beat Saber as well. I have not played Synth Riders yet. My apologies.
I was about to say, I was like,
Do
you
I need to?
listener for so
It,
long.
Do I need to see my way out now? But
How do I
I
like
do
block
think
you?
Synth Riders and I think Smash Drums both have free demos, I believe, on App Lab.
Okay, cool. So I'll check
Yes.
those out for sure because I think that can be like a really fun way to use the technology. That's where I geek out about all this is like, how can you find an interesting way to use VR? Like Moss, amazing way of like you're interacting with your hands and you're playing this platformer as you go about it. Again, all of those first person shooter games and story games like even Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, where you are doing some repetitive motions for sure, but you have to do the hand tracking. Resident Evil. I mean, all those, like whenever a game has a really unique way that could only be done in VR, that's when I really enjoy the game.
Yeah. The really good thing about Smash Drums is that they nail the feedback on the controller. Like when you're hitting a drum, it feels like you are hitting an object, all right? And I think
I,
they do it really well.
I love the spin of
Yeah.
the when you know.
That's
Yeah. The
I
cool.
forget.
spins.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called either.
I don't know what you
My
call
drum
it.
knowledge is not the best, but
Yeah.
Smash Drums on the store now. So I'd recommend if you're a big rhythm game fan. Like Samson said, on the App Lab, there is a demo version with 3 songs, I believe. So definitely check that out because even just with those 3 songs, you get a good feel. I feel like with the Beat Saber has a demo as well, but with the Beat Saber demo, you don't really get a feel if the game's good because it's more of a tutorial than anything. But this one's a really good demo. You really understand if you're gonna like it or not. So definitely check that one out. Hyperdash Winter Update, which is out now. There's a new map, new guns, new skins, all that jazz, similar to like a Population 1 Winter Update. Samson, I know you're a big fan of Hyperdash.
Mhm.
You gonna
Yeah,
jump into this one?
it's been a minute since I've been in Hyperdash actually. Um, I don't know that I will, but if I can get man, my gaming friends have been real busy lately. So one just had a kid and one's in like finals. So it's just
It's another multiplayer one, right? Where you
yeah,
just need people with you. I mean, I guess you can go in
yeah.
it without, but it's more fun. It's always more fun when you have
It's
people.
it's way more fun with people. And yeah, the Hyperdash is great unless you get matched up against people that are really good. And there are some people that are really good. But you know, that happens in all games. You know, it's been happening
Yeah.
to me in Halo sometimes.
Craig, I guess you've not played it because it's multiplayer, right?
Yeah, I haven't played much Hyperdash at all. I did download, I don't know if there was like a demo or if it was, I
It was
may
on
have even,
SideQuest for a long time.
yeah, that's what it was. So I must have played a little bit of it, but I haven't played much at all.
Yeah. Did you ever get interested in Population 1 at all? Because that was hyped up a lot when the quest came out.
I haven't, but
Yeah.
that one mainly because I knew that going into a first person shooter for me, with other people that have already like mastered that would just not be fun. So I kind of avoided that one for that particular reason.
That's why I stopped playing it too as well. It's one of those things that like it on the PlayStation, like if you don't play Call of Duty when it first came out, when the game first comes out, if you buy it much later on, everyone's already so much better. So much better. So it's like, oh, this is not even fun. Going back to cockpit games, we got Ultra Wings 2, which I don't think there was a release date. It just said 2022 again. If you don't know Ultra Wings, the first one is another was an aircraft shooter. You're a pilot. There's various missions and dogfights is going to be in Ultra Wings 2 as well. And apparently it's going to be much bigger than the first. Have you either of you played Ultra Wings at all? Samson, no? No.
No, when I want to fly, I just go into flight sim.
That's true. Yeah, with his beefy PC. I see
Yeah.
another plug of that beefy PC.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on to the one that I think all of us are excited for is After the Fall. So After the Fall, we knew it was coming out on December 9th. We were told that during the Meta Connect, but we never got Quest 2 footage at all. And we're always worried because obviously you see the PC footage and it looked fantastic. You see blood everywhere on the walls, super smooth. You're like, how are they going to get
Lots
this
of dead
on?
enemies. Yeah.
Lots of dead enemies. The storage size for After the Fall is only 3 gig. I remember checking that for last
Yeah.
episode. So I was also looking at, I was like, hold on, if Medal of Honor is 45 gig or whatever, how the hell is this 3 gig? And it looks like it's got a lot more going on screen. We finally saw it. We finally saw snippets. They showed a cross-play trailer, and for the video watchers, you'll see the trailer while I'm talking. You've got the PSVR looks similar-ish to the PC one, obviously not perfectly like the PC one. PC one looks fantastic. I don't think they showed what specs it's on, but I guess it's on something like what Samsung's running. Another plug for the PC there. But with the PC one, looks super smooth, look beautiful. With the Quest one, not as nice, but we kind of expected that. My only issue with the Quest 2 footage, I know we didn't see too much, but it didn't look that smooth compared to the other two counterparts. And that kind of worries me because if it's not as smooth, do you have an advantage if you're in the PC VR space or if you're in the PlayStation VR space, especially for something like a fast first person shooter? I know, Craig, we're
You
trying to
need those
convince you.
frames.
We're trying to convince you to get it. Samson, did you already pre-order this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I hopped in the tutorial during their free beta. I was very busy though with work and then that
Yeah.
big dinner. So I didn't really get in a full game. But I watched a good amount of people's like gameplay of it and listen to them talk about it. And yeah, it seems pretty freaking sweet. Once
Yeah.
again, though, like I gotta be able to. I mean, I feel like this one looks cool enough where I could convince at least one person to buy this game.
Well, we're trying to convince Craig here, and I think
I
I'm gonna pre-order this one because as soon as I saw I didn't want to pre-order straight away because I wanted to wait to what people said about the beta. I know they're all playing on PC, but still kind of want to just see what they look. I know Mateo 311 absolutely loved it, and a bunch of other YouTubers absolutely loved it as well. I think I'm going to pre-order this one. Plus, because it's 3 gig, I can fit it on the Quest as well as Medal of Honor, so that's a win.
the download size is definitely something that, like, when you mentioned that last week, I was like, yes, this is great.
Mhm.
But so what? It's $35 pre-launch,
Yes.
and you get the first season of essentially DLC
Yeah.
for free, right? So that the only thing that I had heard, and it, probably from you guys because you're my Oculus news source, but I had heard that the single player is essentially like a very prolonged tutorial. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just I think it's like 40 minutes long, or so. I think it
But
was 40 minutes.
I
Yeah.
think you can do like the multiplayer aspect. You can play with bots, I
Yes.
believe. Yeah, yeah.
I think you're right too. I don't know if the Quest 2 one does that, but yeah, I think that's what they said too. But obviously this is going to be one for the multiplayer aspect more than anything. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a prolong. I think it's 40 minutes. For some reason I'm thinking 2 hours, but that seems too long. I can't remember. We'll have to go back to that last week's episode on that one. But yeah, that's going to be a prolonged tutorial. So you're just going to learn the ropes. You're probably going to get good at it. You're going to have bots, obviously, but I wouldn't buy it for the single player. I think if you're buying for the single player, that's a terrible idea.
Right.
That's definitely a terrible idea. But I think, yeah, I think you should definitely. Thing is, Craig, you mentioned before with the return policy. I think this is the perfect one for it. I think I'm gonna definitely buy it, but if it doesn't run that well on Quest 2, then that's an instant, an instant refund. I would say. So I'm gonna buy it anyway because you might as well take advantage of the pre-order
Discount.
bonus. Yeah, because I know it's only like $4 or $5, but it also comes with the season. If you like it, that's gonna be fantastic. Craig just slammed his beer. He was like, "Yes, I'm gonna buy it. Let's go."
I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, my app's right here. But I think really I think if there's probably enough people out there, I could find people in the Discord to play with. But yeah, I think I probably will ultimately check it out because this was a game I was pretty pumped about
Yeah.
from the moment I bought the Quest. And then I was kind of bummed when I found out that it was primarily multiplayer, because I hadn't really done much research into it. I just thought it was a cool looking game. But yeah, I think it'll probably be one that I end up ultimately picking up between now and the 9th.
Yeah, you've got literally till the 9th to get that offer in as well. So like I don't know, the jury's still out for me because I'm still worried about how smooth it is. But thing is, Medal of Honor I thought ran well, but obviously with the multiplayer aspect, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll just see. But right now, I would say just buy it and then just use that refund policy. And on that refund policy, by the way, I think it's like if you do it 5 times within
30 days or something.
yeah, they will block you for a little while, then it will come back. Because I know this firsthand because when I started my YouTube channel and I got the Quest, I was like, hold on, I got this refund policy. I don't buy it, film a gameplay, and then return it. Like, what am I spending so much money on? And then I did it, and then I got that ban, and I was like, oh man, I had to keep a game that I really didn't like for $30, and I was like, well, that's karma, never mind. But yeah, I would say it's one of those. But I'm excited for it. It's the game that's going to be out this week, which we'll talk about obviously later in terms of release dates. But yeah, I think it's going to be good fun. I think there's going to be a lot of people playing in multiplayer as well. I think this is going to be much more populated than Medal of Honor has been and such. So yeah, after the fall, we just got a trailer, but December 9th. And heading on to more shooting games, we've got Blast On, which has an Arctic Blast update, which is similar to like the Hyperdash update. We've got some Christmas themed, we've got new weapons, new characters, seasonal mode. They also announced in this little montage, well, they didn't announce, they just showed off Demio again. For those of you who don't know, we've got the new Demio DLC, which comes out in a couple weeks' time now as well. I'm pretty
the
sure.
16th, I think.
Yeah, I know Samson's super excited for that one.
Yeah.
I'm excited to jump in. Craig, I don't know if you were into have you ever played Demio yet? I guess you're not because multiplayer again, right? Yeah, so
right, it's all the multiplayer stuff and like I was never necessarily tabletop game guy. But it certainly looks cool from watching the videos of it and all of that. I just don't know if I have necessarily the time to commit to it because I do most of my gaming like after the kiddo goes to bed. And so I'll probably just be sleepy and old,
The single player with the saves might be your best bet then. Because then you can sort of play at your own pace and just save it whenever. I don't really know how the save feature works, but I assume you can save it whenever.
Yeah, nice. Definitely. I mean, I don't know if anyone redeemed the code on our Discord for Demio because I did have it and I did put it up, but I don't know if anyone redeemed it to be honest, because I don't think
anybody said they did.
No one ever said that they did. So if you want to join our Discord, there's a code of Demio's lying in the chat somewhere, within the last month. And Craig, if you want it, I can just give it to you.
I'd say I get the advantage here because this isn't coming out till a little later. So
well, after oh yeah, exactly. I'll send you the code directly after this, and I don't know if it works because we'll see if someone redeemed it. But Kimberly, our patron, was kind enough to donate that code. So I hope someone got it. Okay, so where are we? I've lost my choice.
Moving right along.
We've got Lost Recipes. Now, this is a game from Shell Games, which is the developer who made I Expect You to Die, and I Expect You to Die 2, of course. Lost Recipes. It's gonna come out in 2022. It's a cooking game, but it ain't like Cooking Mama. It ain't like Overcooked or anything. It's more of an educational cooking game, where you'll go through various cultures. And it's they're going for more accuracy, so they're going to show you how to actually make it make them in real life in a way. But it's an actual game. But then I wonder if the recipes will translate to real life. I feel like it will. Samson, did you look at this one at all? Lost Recipes?
I did look at it, and it is, maybe not quite my style. Takes a little too much, little cooking patience.
You're not a
Uh,
cooker?
I mean, it is an interesting take, an educational take on cooking. Uh, I mean, really, I'll try anything. Uh, but like, as far as like enjoy and spend a good amount of time in, uh, I'm not quite sold on that one yet.
How about you, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess if I wanted to cook something, I would just go and cook something. So, which I know goes back against what I had said earlier about the experience of VR.
Oh.
But this just doesn't speak to me like some of the other ones do.
I'm a big chef. I love to cook, but kind of on the same page as you there, Craig, where I kind of would just cook it, whatever, or just look up the recipe and go, okay, let me just try this stuff rather than buying something and then because I already know how to cook. Like I just need to just tell me the recipe so I can kind of, replicate it. I don't need to know how to chop, but I can see this being attractive to some people. I think the educational side in VR is pretty big. I know a lot of companies. I know LinkedIn, for example, are definitely looking. And I mean, LinkedIn's owned by Microsoft, and I know they're looking into using VR and AR to enhance their LinkedIn learning side of things. Definitely something that they're going to try and focus on in the next couple of years or so. So this kind of taps into that. If you want to take a cooking class, you could take one in Lost Recipes kind of. I feel like they'll do it right though, because the developer is fantastic. They're both their games that they've come out has been well polished and well done, so I think they'll make a good experience. It's just whether or not this is going to be one for people to buy. I was very surprised when it was more of an educational game rather than an Overcooked, because I thought they'd probably nail like an Overcooked type clone, to be honest, which is a fantastic game, by the way, if you've not played Overcooked in any of the flat pancake consoles.
Yeah.
Phenomenal co-op game. Let's move on. We got two more. We got Zenith VR. Zenith, shall I say, which is a VR MMO. The beta of this is going to come out on December 18th. If you don't know Zenith, in 2019 they had a Kickstarter which raised $200,000, and they've been running an alpha throughout the whole of 2021. And then they raised a further $10 million through funding in September. So hell of a lot of money getting pumped into this game from investors and from obviously the people through Kickstarter. The trailer looks fantastic too. It's not for me. Like MMO is not really my jam, but it does look really good. It does look really good. Samson, you looked at this one at all?
Oh yeah. I actually just joined their Discord hoping that I could get in on the beta.
Nice.
I feel like I could convince a few friends to come back into VR with this one who do like MMOs in 2D. I mean, yeah, it's not usually my style, but if I can convince most games, if I can convince a couple friends to spend a few hours in this, I'll definitely try to do so.
Yeah, this one might be good for Joseph, right? I know he says he likes RPGs, but I feel like a lot of the
Yeah.
demographic who like RPGs are also in the MMO space as well. So this could be a good one for him, to be honest. Craig, I guess you're not really an online person, so I'm assuming these MMOs are too much for you.
Right. It doesn't really speak to me, I guess. But
Yeah.
but no, I mean it sounds like a lot of fun for sure, but just not something that I'd probably be into.
Yeah, definitely. But I know which one you'll be into, and that's Moss Book 2, right?
You're right.
Nailing these segues. Now, Moss Book 2, we got a spring 2022 release date, but for the PlayStation VR, not for the Quest. They actually not released anything talking about the Quest, nor the PC VR either. Now, this isn't so too much of a surprise because Moss 1 came out on the PSVR first, as well, and then it came later to Quest. So hopefully with a spring 2022, maybe the PSVR get it first, and then hopefully fall will be when we get the port on the Quest, which I guess is kind of disappointing news for you, Craig.
Yeah, it is. I do take a while to get through games, so I'm sure I'll be fine. But I really have just enjoyed Moss so much, so I'm looking forward to this whenever it comes out.
Yeah, Moss is fantastic. I mean, Samson, you spoke highly of Moss lots and lots of times on this channel, right?
Yeah.
I bet you can't wait to get back into some Moss.
Yeah, for
Just a
sure. It looks
relaxing game.
beautiful. I mean, it's a great trailer. You should
Yeah.
put it on if people are watching
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
I'll put all the
Throw 'em
trailers
on.
on
Got
the
to make sure
video.
we talk about Moss long enough.
100%, 100. Yeah, well, while the trailer's going on, let's
Yeah,
talk more about Moss.
exactly.
Moss
Yeah,
just nails it. It's like Craig, you spoke about it at the top of the show, where it's one of those games where it's a platformer. You don't expect platformers to work so well in VR, but they've nailed it. They've them and there's only a few. I mean, we got Super Lucky's Tale, which also came out. Or was it called Lucky's Tale? I think Super Lucky's is another version
yeah.
of that, right?
Lucky's Tale and
Yeah.
Vex.
Yeah, Vex, and then if you're on PlayStation, it will be Astro's Astro Bot Rescue Mission, I think it's called, which is another phenomenal platformer. So the platformers kind of work, but they're just not many of them out there, which is
Yeah.
kind of a shame. There's a lot of it's more. I mean, a lot of people have complained about this on the Quest, where it's more geared towards either rhythm or first person shooters as like the two or zombie shooters more than anything. There's like the three major kind of there's obviously more than that if you dig deeper, but that's like the most that they're pushing. So it'd be nice if there was another platformer coming out, and it's a shame that Moss is not going to be out for the Quest in spring 2022. It's pretty much of a shame because there's not many of them. I would have loved to have a game like that. It really just because it's so relaxing to play in it, and it's not particularly difficult. It's just a fun, relaxing game to play. But never mind. We'll have to wait for that one somewhere. Hopefully, somewhere in 2022, we'll get that one. So that was the Upload VR showcase. Quite a lot, actually, more than I expected to come out. Most of them all 2022s and smaller titles, but hopefully a few of those were good for some of the listeners there. Let's go on to update 35. That's the next news story. We got mixed reality recording on the iPhone. You could have mixed reality recording on the Android before. Now available on the iPhone. As Samson was saying before, Smash Drums is a good one to show off mixed reality, to be honest. They really do it well. You've also got messenger calling, so you can now make calls through the Messenger app. And the biggest one is the cloud backups. Finally, we got cloud backups. So if Craig does need to get rid of all of his games so he can play Medal of Honor, he won't lose everything like I lost everything when I got rid of
That makes me so sad that you lost everything.
Gets to get it all back.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. That cloud backup was never done. All my walkabout mini book. The most yeah, I wasn't too bad that some of the games I lost the game saves and such. It was like, you know what? I wasn't too invested because I wasn't playing that much anyway. It's fine, I'll replay them. But losing all those walkabout mini golf balls that I had so many golf balls there.
All the clubs.
The clubs as well. I have to do all those riddles again. It's that's the one that hurt me the most because Walkabout literally announced that they had their own cloud saves like 3 days later.
Yeah, it was really fast. Yeah.
And I was like, I could have just waited because I didn't even play Medal of Honor until the weekend anyway. So never mind. But that's great that cloud backups are going to come up. Zuckerberg also mentioned that, or confirmed, should I say, there'll be more customizations options in Horizon Workrooms if any listeners have tried that out or used that often. But once again, that's update 35, rolling out over the next few weeks like it does all the time. Craig, actually, what's your opinion on that? We've got updates that come out not at the same time. It's like over a few weeks they get rolled out. And then you've got games that just don't have any release dates and just all of a sudden appear. Like it's a little bit different to the normal,
It totally is. The updates don't mind at all. I mentioned earlier about the release dates being a little bit annoying only because I like to have some kind of built up anticipation for things, but it is also, I guess, kind of nice that sometimes, like for instance, the Tales for Galaxy's Edge completely came out of nowhere for me. I think it was again, you all that had mentioned like, oh, it's coming out September 15th. And I think I heard that like the week before. And I was just like, oh, cool. I'm going to have more to play on this. So, so that's kind of nice that like that you don't have like months and months and months or even a year of anticipation or whatever for the most part. But the updates are kind of nice that they're constantly going back in and retooling things too, because this is such a new field. Even if you're talking about 2016, 2015 or whatever, going back to the original Oculus and everything else that came before that, but it's just nice that they're constantly working on this and pumping out those updates. And cloud saves, I mean, come on, like why was that not a thing to begin
with?
So it makes sense that it would be coming out in an update sooner rather than later.
Yeah, especially like I said, for 64 gig Quest owners, or if your Quest breaks, or if you want to upgrade to 128 or 256, now you can without worrying that you're going to lose everything, right?
I know they wouldn't do this, but I almost feel like it would have been great had they offered like an upgrade price. Like if they would have Dan, would you have paid like, cause the initial jump would have been $100, and I get that they couldn't do that, but if they were like, turn in your Oculus for $150, because then they could just strap a new hard drive in that thing and resell it anyway. They can kind of repackage it. But I probably would have paid like 150 to like re-up to 128, or even at that point just went for a 256.
I would have definitely considered it too. I mean, I know what you're talking about, because when the PlayStation 4 Pro came out, a lot of not PlayStation itself, but a lot of the outlets like GameStop, they would have big trade-in programs. Like you trade in your PS4 for extra credit this time. So you trade it in for $200 and you'll get the PS4 Pro for $150 or something. I would have, even though it's not like going from a Quest 2 to a Quest 2 Pro, I would have probably still paid the $150 to get, I would definitely do that, because the issue is now, as I was looking, is that if you do want to sell your 64 gig Quest, the value is decreased a hell of a lot, because you can't sell it near to that price, because the 128 is that price now.
I think I saw Walmart was selling them for 200.
Yes, they were on the Cyber Monday and Black Friday. They were $200 for the 64 gig ones, which is steal, to be honest. If you don't care about Medal of Honor and lots of games.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you, Clay. I would have loved that. The thing is, I don't know in the States they do, but in Canada, it's only like Best Buy who have the Quest. The GameStop don't have it at all. So I don't know if your GameStop has the Quest at all, or
I think you might be able to order it there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been so long since I've been in a GameStop, so I have no idea.
I'm just saying, because they're the ones to have those type of promotions, to be honest. But yeah, I would have definitely done that. So let's move on to what we've been playing. Craig, as a guest, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil, and then I mentioned that I picked up Blade and Sorcery as well, and that's been a whole lot of fun. And then I just been playing Walkabout with my son and enjoying that. And so it's been
don't get him in Blades
games.
and Sorcery.
No, that would be a little too much. I mean, I think he would dig it for sure. Like, although the animated blood, I think would be a little bit too much for him, maybe. But no, it's been kind of fun going back and forth to a bunch of different games and checking things out. And then, like I said, I did try out Tetris, but it just wasn't my thing. Like, it was just basically playing Tetris. I mean, it was very calming. I could see why it'd be like a really good release for a lot of people. But for me, it just wasn't enough there.
That's fair. I think, to be honest, Tetris Effect, I loved because I can sit down and yeah, it's relaxing. It's just a different aspect. I normally play it at like night, maybe something before bed, or just like as I'm winding down, just have a couple games in like Tetris Effect just for fun if I got my headphones in on a weekend. But to be honest, my issue with Tetris Effect is that I find it too hard for me.
It is pretty hard.
Even on the easy level, I still find it quite hard, once you get deeper into the levels. So um but that's the one. You're not gonna
My,
give your son the Quest 264 while you
oh,
upgrade?
that's what I should do. Yeah,
Yeah.
then we can
Merry
play. We can
Christmas.
play Walkabout together. That's a smart way to think about it for sure. But the other thing I did buy and I've not played yet, I finally got Vader Immortal because again,
Yes.
Disney guy, Star Wars guy. Um, I think a long time ago I had heard that Black Friday it would go on sale, and it did. And so
It always
it
does.
picked it
Yeah.
up for I think it was $14.99. So you got it for $5 an episode or whatever. So I'm going to check that out too. I know that was what made in 2016 or so. So it's not
Definitely
like,
worth that price though.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
well
so-
worth it. Yeah.
so I'm excited to play that. I'll probably get into that this upcoming week.
You are gonna
After the
freaking love
fall.
that.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
after the fall comes out. And since I've got to pick up after the fall now because of you two.
Yeah, definitely. I really think you're gonna love Vader Immortal. I actually didn't ask you what was the first. Can you remember the first VR title you did on Quest?
Oh, it was Tales from the Galaxy's Edge because
Tales,
that was kind of the reason that like led me to, I was like, well, should I go with the masses trying to get a PS5 or should I look for something different? And I really did want to play, like, I would love to play Miles Morales. I would love to play some of those titles. But the thing of it is, I was like, well, again, this is a platform where I think as someone that it really sucks at gaming, I can enjoy this and still get something out of it. And I can also play it for a shorter amount of time and still feel like I'm playing the game and I'm getting my money's worth out of this system. So that's why I went with the Quest. And then, so the first game I picked up was Tales of the Galaxy's Edge, and it was great. I remember that first time going in there and it's just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's just so much fun. There's still those experiences where you go in and you're just in awe. I picked up one game called Brink Traveler, and it's not really a game. It's more of just like a vista view kind of thing. But I showed that to my wife because we had gone to Arches National Park, and Arches is one of the places you can visit on this. And she was just in awe of the way that it looked within virtual reality. So, and that doesn't even include some of the things like I love just jumping on YouTube and showing a 360 video at a Disney park or something like that. Again, Disney guy. So it's just, the technology is just so cool.
Yeah, I used to go on the Prime VR app is Amazon Prime VR app is really good. If you want to watch some stuff on Prime, it's not in obviously 360, but it's just a cool way to show. That's one of the first things I did, but I was interested because I thought for some reason that Vader Immortal would have been your first one anyway, because that was mine, and it blew me away when I saw Darth Vader. So yeah, I'm excited for you to try that. It's going to be,
and you're basically as tall as them.
Yeah,
basically. Samson, what have you played?
Yeah, this is a great lead into what I've been playing because I haven't been playing much, but I have been using my Quest to take in some good content. I watched Hugo in 3D, and then I was just like watching I think the Muppet movie, just like a random movie, just like in the theater. I was using Skybox.
Yes. Yeah. Did you was the Muppet movie in 3D too? Oh
No, Muppet movie was normal 2D.
Yeah. How did you
but
find
yeah,
it?
It does make me wish there was more 3D content.
Yeah.
Especially like TV 3D content. But I mean, like I've mentioned before, normal 3D, like with the glasses, gives me a headache. I can't watch it. But watching in VR, like just the way the focus works, it doesn't give me a headache, and I really enjoy it.
I watched a bit of Guardians in the Galaxy in 3D when I first got the Quest, and that was really cool. That was especially the opening scene where he's like kicking water and everything, and I was like, this is pretty nice, watching it. The only problem is for me is that I can't wear the Quest headset for that long unless I'm playing Demio, obviously when I'm super into it. But just to like sit there I don't think I, it gets kind of uncomfortable after a while. More because it's just the weight and the heat. But I was hoping something like that HTC glasses, or HT was it called HT Focus or whatever it was called, or Flow. I'm
The
hoping that
flow,
that was
yeah.
gonna be like that, but it seems that's not like it either. But yeah, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you like jumped into those because I don't think we talk about that enough. That we watching cinema in VR is actually a pretty cool experience as well, especially when you're in big screen with other people, or if you're in a private room with your actual friends and family watching something. So, have you, Samson, have you watched any of the sports in VR? Because I know you can watch basketball and such in the US.
Yeah, I think that's only connected. I could be wrong, but I feel like I've seen that it's connected to only NBA like League Pass.
Yeah,
Uh, so you'd need to have League Pass. I could
right.
be wrong on that. Like, don't quote me, but
I think you might be right
yeah,
as well.
I
But
don't know. It's like I'm not really gonna tune into these sports games outside of VR. So
you
unless
know,
I have like a friend who's gonna tune in with me
mhm.
in VR, I'm not gonna just do that.
They should have the Super Bowl in VR. That'd be pretty good. They used to have they did the way back in the World Cup, the soccer World Cup in 2018. Was it 2018? I feel like it was that one. They had the World Cup in VR, and I remember watching it because it was through the PlayStation VR at the time, and that was fantastic. It was really fun. It was just, I obviously I'm probably not going to watch every game like that, but it was just fun to see that experience because you can choose different layouts. Oh, or choose where you're going to sit in the stand, and you can just change if you wanted to, like behind the goal or something. But if you're in the stands like all the other fans, first you can just look at a fan, just stare at them, just whatever. Or you can
Crazy.
like peek over the stands and just look what the dugout's doing and see what the managers and the subs are doing, and like you would if you're actually in there rather than having to look at the game and just follow that all the time. So yeah, I wish they did more sports, but I guess it just depends on where you are and what region. I know in America and in Canada to an extent that yeah, you need those league passes if you want to see MLB, if you want to see NBA, if you want to see this. You need cable for this.
There's a lot of like broadcasting rights.
There's a lot of broadcasting rights, and it really depends on where you are as well. So, which always surprised me when I first moved here, where I was like, "Oh, I can't watch a Canucks game on cable on a NHL pass because it's on cable." I was like, "What? This is the only game I want to see because I'm here." But never mind. I think for what I've been playing, I've not done anything different to what I did 2 weeks ago, and I've just been playing nothing but Medal of Honor, like I spoke about earlier, and Supernatural, like we mentioned. I've been loving the boxing, same as you, Craig. The meditation, I thought I when I tried it, it was kind of nice because you have your eyes closed, and when you wake up, or when you open your eyes, you look around and you're in this beautiful space, which is kind of nice. But I meditate quite often, and I just prefer to do it outside the headset. Um, I don't think it works as well as it maybe could do in the future. I don't know what they could do with that with the
It'd
meditation,
be
to be
nice to
honest.
have guided meditations because that's kind of what I do. And
Yeah.
I think that that could be a really big benefit to whatever they want to do with that
Yeah.
space. And not like with the trainers that they have, but actually bringing in like meditation
Yeah.
experts. I use a particular app. And like
Yeah.
if they were to partner with something like that, a company that's already doing this
100%.
space, that could be really cool to add that as a feature within the meditation of Supernatural.
Yeah, I agree. I use Headspace a lot, and I also use this app called 10% Happier. And the thing I
That's the
love,
one. Yeah,
yeah,
that's where I'm at too.
I've
Yeah,
been, I
absolutely.
mean, I really like Headspace, but I also like having both because 10% happier. The thing about it is that before you do the meditation, you have like maybe a 3 to 5 minute video where it's like a conversation with the guy and whoever the teacher is. Um, and I think that would be nice to have that in VR where you're like sat down and the meditation teacher's in front of you and you're in that kind of room where they're doing a conversation, which is kind of nice. And yeah, I think they could add some interactivity into that. What I'm doing right now is something to do with mindful eating, and they talk about like the raisin test where you grab it and you have all the feels of it and such. And I was like wondering if they could maybe put some of those awareness or being more aware activities in actual VR. I think there's a lot of room for that to happen. But yeah, there's a potential in that, but we'll see. I think you're right. They can't just have the normal trainers. They've got to have the actual meditation experts to see if they can do better at that. And I think the other thing I've been playing is Smash Drums. I played it kind of briefly. I got an early access code from the developer who sent it me last week, so thank you to him. Like we've already spoke about, Smash Drums, fantastic. It was good fun. It's more of the same. If you've already played it on the App Lab, it's more of the same. But now you get the multiplayer. So if you've definitely got friends, or if you want to just jump into the versus mode, go for it. I think it's a quality game. All right, so let's finish off the show here with the games out this week. Samson, do you want to start off with After the Fall?
Sure. After the Fall releases December 9th for the lean mean price of $39.99 or $35.99 if you pre-order before December 9th. From the team that brought you Arizona Sunshine comes an epic VR action FPS with intense 4-player co-op gameplay at its core. Team up with friends and take on a post-apocalyptic VR world filled with ferocious, undead, mutated, and twisted by the relentless cold.
It started off quite slow and then went straight in right at the end.
Yeah, you did.
You got super into it. I guess we've already spoke about this. Like I'm quite excited to try this out. And hopefully, in the quest it'll be run well. So we're definitely talking about it next week on the show. We have 4VR darts, which is brought to you by the is it 4VR forever VR? I think it's 4VR, right? I don't know how to say their name properly sometimes, but it's 4VR are the same company that do the bowling. They've got darts. There's no actual release date, but it should come out within the next week or two. We should have a release date soon, but it is coming out very, very soon. Stock your arsenal with a selection of 50 plus uniquely weighted darts with custom effects and attributes, featuring a range of classic designs and fantastical flights. Explore 3 immersive dart halls and choose from thousands of songs on the jukebox, or stay tuned into each hall's curated playlist. Get competitive with Double Out 501, 301 in public multiplayer, or keep it casual with 501, 301, 201, and 101 modes in single player, pass and play, or private room with friends. Create and join private multiplayer rooms, very similar to the bowling, to be honest. Challenge in-game pros NPCs to hone your skills and level up. Oh, it also has a pass to play feature, which is pretty nice, because we've not really seen many pass to plays with a VR headset, have we? And I think you can definitely take advantage of that. Something like even mini walkabout mini golf could kind of do that, or the golf games where you just take your shot
it's
and
a
you pass it.
requested feature for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. Craig, did you ever play the bowling version of for VR at all?
Not yet. But again, I think, when my son might want to check it out, I think that's probably when I'll pick it up. But I love the idea of a dart game like this. Give me that dart scene from Ted Lasso, and I'm right there.
I love the Ted Lasso reference.
I wish I combined the two games.
I thought it was originally.
Cool.
I thought that's what they were doing at the start. It could be
like a social hub,
the 4VR pub games or something. The English pub games, with the but yeah, I think PJ has already played this, I believe, or a friend of the show. Or Gina's already played this and said it was pretty good. And it works well. I have got a code for it, but I haven't jumped into it yet. So hopefully I'll try and jump into that for the next show. And see how it plays. I'm really interested to see how it works with the controller. But apparently it works quite naturally, and bowling was really done well, and me and Samson had a lot of fun in that. So I'm sure we'll have fun in this too. It only took him like 6 months to make this game, 6 or 7 months. It's like their project for 2021. So I guess I can create, like, some of the assets will be used from the bowling. I'm interested in the flights as well, because the good thing about the bowling game is the actual bowling balls. The designs of the bowling balls are fantastic. Really well done.
There's gonna be some cool darts for sure.
Yeah, I think they'll do well on that. So
And boards. Yeah.
yeah, so that don't have an exact release date, but it should come out within the week, or if not the week after. So and then the final one, Samsung, same thing with the release date. Not too sure, but a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Soon. Coming soon. Morals Homestead. In this sandbox VR adventure, you'll start with a blank canvas of empty land. What to do? Explore levels from many environments and find hundreds of unique items to keep for yourself or trade to grow your homestead into whatever you wish. Grow and harvest crops, hunt for the elusive moral mushroom, and find rarities to give your valuable commodities for trade. Use your metal detector and trusty shovel to find and secure many different treasures. Let out your inner nature enthusiast and photograph beautiful and sometimes rare animals. The path you take is yours to choose. Every homestead will be unique. What will you create?
I love the little point to the camera there as well. Fantastic. You won't believe that it's 11:30 p.m. where you are.
Awesome.
Yeah, any thoughts on this one? This is I have no really idea. Didn't even like look at this game until I just saw it on the coming soon. I don't think I'm into this type of game. I think it's too much for me to do. I like to just jump in, have a little game, and then get out of there. But hey, maybe you can jump in,
Absolutely.
grow and harvest your crops, and get out of there, I guess. But it seems like it's on like the Animal Crossing level a little bit more. This game. I don't know if Craig you're into Animal Crossing. I don't know if you have a Switch.
Much like everybody, at the beginning of the pandemic, got Animal Crossing, and now I do not play it anymore. So, but it's just not something that's for me. Like, again, if I wanted to go tend to landscaping in a garden, I should probably just go do my own, and I'm not going to do that either. So
I think it's the same as the simulated games, right? Like the train simulator, flight simulator. I guess they're a little bit different because it's not like you can just fly a plane, rather than gardening.
I don't know what they do up in Canada, but down here you can't just go and grab a plane if you
Oh
want
no!
to.
Oh,
So.
I got a couple just in the driveway. Might hop in now. Might hop in now. Samson, any thoughts on this one or another one that? Nah.
This is not for me.
I said no need to say any more. No need to say any more. But hey, could be reviewed well, and some of the listeners you might be into this. So more power to you. And that rounds off our show. There we have it. Craig, thank you so much for joining us. Our first patron to actually join us on the show. So yeah, thank you very much. That was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you asking your patrons to come on. And I would recommend that everybody go and support these two because you do a great job of breaking down Oculus news and kind of giving some insights into what you've been playing and what titles might be really good to check out and which ones to avoid. I really appreciated the recommendations that you gave me a long time ago when I sent in that first question. And a lot of those games, I think you went through like 10 different games, and I probably have 8 of them or whatever on my Oculus right now. So definitely thank you so much. I really appreciate coming on.
Definitely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
listening.
much. Yeah, I think it was only fitting to have the first like patron to come on is the person who gave the first ever question. So thank you so much, Craig. Did you want to plug any of like your podcasts? Of course, I know we spoke about it, but you might as well plug it again.
Well, sure, absolutely. So Beyond the Mouse is all about Disney. So we talk Disney parks and then also Disney movies as they come out. I'm trying to think of what we have coming up. Oh, we have actually a really cool interview this week with a guy named Saul Blinkoff, who is a director, producer, and animator for Disney, and just a really inspiring guy. He also has his own podcast. So I love everybody that has their own podcast. And then also same day of the week, it's on Fridays, come out with a new episode of Peanut Butter and Biscuits, which is the Ted Lasso podcast. We started in season 2. So now we're going back and rewatching season 1 with the knowledge that we have of season 2. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. And actually, this Friday will be my favorite episode of Ted Lasso of all time. It's episode 5, season 1, which is Tan Lines. It's the episode where Ted's family comes and visits him for the first time. And truly, that's when the show went from like this goofball, like kind of lovable comedy to a really serious show that had some really depth in their characters. And I loved it ever since.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that one out. Do love Ted Lasso a lot. And yeah, I think you're right. I think that was the kind of pivotal moment. And then season 2 kind of jumped on that moment even more. To make it so like you have the quirky jokes, but then there's so much more into it. There's so many life lessons that they show off, and a lot of like truth as well. And yeah, I love the mental health aspect that they dived into as well in season 2. And yeah, welcome to a little part of the Ted Lasso podcast here.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm perfect. So oh no, that was the terrible Mickey.
Mickey's here.
We better end the show real quick. So thanks a lot to all you.
Goofy.
Let's end it quickly. Thanks a lot to everyone who's listening and everyone on the videos. We'll be back next week. We're heading over to Christmas time, so we'll like round off the 2021, talk about what happened this year and what our thoughts are. So definitely stay tuned for that next Wednesday, and thanks for listening. So we'll see you then.
Thanks, everybody.